5 baits that you can go buy for $25 that not only are gonna catch you fish, but they will catch your kids' fish, and they are my 5 suggested choices for Walmart fishing lures.
The spinnerbait, a different color crankbait, 1.5. Actually, you know what? Get a better color. Well, different color. Okay, so need to get a Topwater. I was gonna start with a frog, but let's do good old Rebel Pop R. So you got the Pop R, spinnerbait, square bill. We need 2 more. Green pumpkin Senkos. So that's 4. I guess normally I would talk about some kind of swim bait, but or the jig, but just for variation, I'm gonna get another spinner because I've mentioned it but never talked about it in a video. 82 cents, Johnson beetle spin. Okay, so you got the Rebel Pop R, the War Eagle 3/8 ounce spinnerbait, the Gary Yamamoto Senkos 1, 2, 3, the beetle spin, and then the Strike King KVD 1.5 score bill. You said $25.60 for all of them?
Right.
The War Eagle 3/8 ounce double willow blade, not willow bait, spinnerbait. You want the honest answer? I've caught a lot of fish on these baits. They work very well. I've mainly caught largemouth bass on these baits. I don't want to go too in depth with all these baits, so I'm just going to show you. And then I'm going to tell you that you see the willow blades. Why are they called willow blades? Because of the shape. They almost look like a leaf. These blades are used for flash. And then you also have Colorado, Indiana, Oklahoma blades. Now, if I have stained water and I want to use a blade for vibration, I will use either all Colorado or a combination of willow and Colorado, or a combination of Colorado and Indiana. But anyway, a spinnerbait is going to put off a lot of flash. It's going to look like bait fish being chased by a bass. And yes, they're going to love that spinnerbait, I promise you. Number 2, KVD 1.5 square bill crankbait. This bait right here is the black back chartreuse. And I was originally going to go with like a Tennessee color or a natural shad color. Well, I chose the chartreuse one because this color in this 1.5 bait is one of my favorite baits to use in stained and muddy water. And if you're wondering, did KVD actually work with Strike King to make this crankbait and to put stuff into it? Yes, he did. There was a time when I thought that was a gimmick. It's not. Okay? They sell these baits at Walmart. And it is going to imitate a bait fish. It is going to irritate bass. It is going to trigger a reaction strike. My favorite time to fish a square bill is either in the spring or the fall. I've still caught fish in the summer and in really hot days with a square bill, but like I said, I mean, spring and fall, I like to fish this square bill on 12-pound test monofilament, 15-pound test monofilament, and also 12-pound and 15-pound fluorocarbon. Now, if I'm fishing an inland lake, once in a while I will use like 17 or 20-pound test, because what that heavier line is going to do is it's not going to let the bait go down all the way, you know, because the bait is going to dive 3 to 5 feet. But if you use 17 or 20-pound test, you fish it in shallow water around cover, lily pads, weeds, a whole bunch of stuff, docks. I found that there are times where I don't want the bait to go as deep, if that makes any sense. But anyway, bait number 1, bait number 2. What would 5 lures for bass fishing a pond or a lake be without Topwater? I thought about picking a frog, but I picked the Rebel Pop R. Now you might be wondering, why did I pick the Pop R? Well, I picked the Pop R because of the sound. That's a disaster. You will hear people talk about, you know, blue, that pop. I like to fish these baits either slow or fast. And what I mean by that is I will bloop, fish it really fast, or I will go bloop and pause. Now, to me, whether I fish it fast or slow, loud or quiet, or, you know, kind of, you know, walking almost like a spook would, is going to depend on the water color, the water clarity, and, of course, the time of the year and the bait fish. But, again, I don't want to go too in-depth. 15-pound monofilament, 17-pound monofilament, or like a 30-pound braid. Braid and monofilament are great for topwater. I would not recommend using fluorocarbon for topwater. Why would I not use fluorocarbon for topwater? Because fluorocarbon sinks. Fluorocarbon helps your baits get down to a desired depth, okay? Monofilament has stretch, which will help your topwater hook set. Braid has no stretch. So with braid, the fish hits the bait goes under, zoo, you set that hook. So spinnerbait, squirrelbill, topwater. Let's go a little bit out of order here. Actually, no, we're not. Gary, Yamamoto, Senko in the green pumpkin color. So, if you are having a hard time catching fish, or the fish do not want to bite, if you rig this weightless Texas rig with a 3/0 hook, something like a Gamakatsu offset shankworm EWG, or another brand, maybe a Mustad Trocar, if you rig it weightless, that is a great way to catch fish. Another thing too, you'll hear people talk about the O-ring kit for the wacky rigs, or sometimes if they don't have the kit, they'll even take the 3/0 worm hook and they'll rig it, you know, in the middle so it's wacky rigged. That is another great way to catch fish. You can fish these on casting, but I still to this day like to fish these on spinning. I think it's fun. Go out there, you know, a buddy and you having fun, relaxing, fishing, whatever. Take your girlfriend, take your kids, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. This bait will catch you fish. And why green pumpkin? Because green pumpkin is a natural color. And another thing about the Senko, before I forget, is when the bait falls in the water, it's going to have like kind of like a slow shimmy. And when you use monofilament on a Senko, even though, I mean, that's not my ideal choice personally, but monofilament is going to give it a, you know, a slower fall. Fluorocarbon is going to have close to the same light refractive properties as water, and it's going to let that bait get down deeper. It's going to be more sensitive, okay? But, again, you can do either. Yes, these are a little pricey. Yes, you can also use a Yum Dinger, a BPS one, a whole bunch of other brands, but I picked these because these were at my Walmart and for the video purpose. Johnson Beetle Spin. You will notice that this is the 1/4 ounce size. On the back, you will see that it has a sunfish and a crappie on it, and it has a knot. Anyway, these are great for panfish. They're great for sunfish, bluegill, crappie, a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, but I picked the 1/4 ounce size because if you have big crappie, big panfish, or bass, they will hit this. They will also hit the smaller version. You will catch more panfish and more smaller panfish and bass on the smaller version. But this size works as well. I was going to grab a smaller size and talk about why I like that smaller size, why it's good on spinning tackle, all that, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to grab a 1/4 ounce. Check this out. You get your jig head with one of the plastics. You get an extra plastic. And then you get a spinner. So, all you're going to do, even though sometimes this can be a pain, but it's not difficult, is you're going to take your beetle spin. You're going to twist this piece in there. You're going to close it. And that is your beetle spin. This is going to spin like a spinnerbait. Now, another thing too is if you want, you can take the beetle spin off, or you can take the spinner off. Do I even know how to talk? Okay, you can take the spinner off and you can fish it as a jig. That will work too. And leave me a comment in the section below. What are your guys' favorite baits from Walmart? Look, March even has a bass on it.